Hello there. Welcome to another Star Wars The Bad Batch episode breakdown. Today we're going to be breaking down episode 2. Now, if you want to know my thoughts on the first episode, go watch my other breakdown. I'll put the card on the top right, or you can just click the link in my description. Now, into the video. We pick up where the last episode ended. Omega, Tech, and Echo are plummeting from the sky after ejecting all of the crates. The re-entry thrusters engage, and it's a lot smoother of a ride, while Wrecker and Hunter are still on the run from the clones. So they decide to scale the rest of the castle to get away. Tech, Echo, and Omega's crate finally land on the edge of a cliff. The crate tips over, everyone rocks round, and something really heavy lands on Tech's leg, and he's impaired for the rest of the episode. Side note, I really love how Tech automatically just knew exactly what the issue was and how much the crate that landed on his leg weighed. That was just really cool to me. I don't know. We don't really get to see Tech's intelligence like that work that fast all that often, but yeah, I just really love that. Echo goes topside and realizes that they still haven't landed and they're just being held up by some tree branches. Clone Captain Wilco and his men discover that Hunter and Wrecker must have scaled the building and that they have to be somewhere in the destroyed city. And something I just want to say about Wilco really quickly is he just seems like a clone that's very straightforward. Like, even before the chip activated, I feel like he would have been a very, maybe not dogma level, but maybe a Commander Cody type of clone. Someone who isn't like completely personalityless, but also basically always goes by the rules. I don't know. Tech, Omega, and Echo get out of the crate, but Omega wants to go back for the treasure that they left behind. Echo says no and that it's more important that they find cover right now. Hunter informs Tech by some special code that they need to go radio silent because the clones are monitoring the comm channels. Omega sees someone spying on them. They end up confronting the old man, whose name is Romar, and Echo suspects him of working with the Empire, and Romar expects them of working for the Empire. They are clones after all. The clones aggressively convince him to take them back to wherever he's living at the time, and of course he does. He doesn't really have a choice. One of the clones who are looking for Hunter and Wrecker inform Captain Wilco that they have eyes on most of the containers. He informs his clones to divide the search parties and to find every single crate that they haven't found yet. Hunter and Wrecker are hiding from the clones when they spot old separatist tanks, which I really love this because its design and like the color and all of that is, I think that's a reference to the very first episode of Clone Wars, and I'm pretty sure the color palette is the exact same from the tanks in the very first episode of Clone Wars. Tech, Echo, and Omega get back to the hut that the old man has, and Omega wants to drop off Tech and immediately go back for the treasure. Now, the reason she wants to do this is because she wants to prove her worth. She wants to, she heard what Echo said about their lives being kind of messed up because of her. So the reason she wants to do this is to finally have enough money to be free where they can go do whatever they want, / her proving that, she's not just a liability. Omega mentions the war chest that they're trying to recover, and the old man says that it's cursed and to stay away from it. He also informs them that it wasn't only stolen, it was stolen from Sereno. It was stolen from his own people, from his own world. Basically saying that Dooku is a complete scoundrel. The old man walks away, and Omega tells Echo that it's not too late to go get the treasure, and Echo again declines and says that her new mission is just to keep an eye on the old man. Hunter and Wrecker go to the separatist tanks to try to see if they can get them working. Neither Hunter or Wrecker's tanks work, so they just get out and plan to retreat, unknowing that the clones see them and that they're right behind them. Back at the hut, Omega is of course watching the old man, and he gives her a little toy with reflective glass on it. Now, Omega misunderstands and thinks that there are like jewels inside of it. The old man says no, it's just a toy and it's supposed to make you feel happy, which is more important than any kind of treasure or jewel. Now, I really like this scene because if you think about it, when in Omega's life would she ever really have a toy? Definitely not on Kamino and the Bad Batch. Would they really have toys other than the little Lula doll that Wrecker had? That's the only thing that she could really call a toy, but other than that, she wouldn't logically have any time of her life where she would even really understand what a toy is. Omega goes back up the ladder. Tech and Echo are arguing about the war chest. Tech is talking about how they need to recover it some way, somehow, and Echo is still complaining about how the Empire is just still getting stronger. Echo eventually walks out and says he's going to check for patrols. The old man asks Tech for the spanner on his belt to fix this little doohickey thing. Tech mistakes it for something separatist, and he tells them that not everything associated with Sereno and separatist-controlled worlds automatically mean CIS, which I like how they continuously show that not everything's black and white and that there's always a gray. With Tech distracted and Echo taking a walk, Omega sees a long rope and is going to go and try to get the treasure herself. Hunter and Wrecker are looking through the wreckage of the city, looking for something to help them get out of their situation, when they end up getting ambushed by the clones that were stalking them earlier. They get into a skirmish and Wrecker rigs part of the separatist tank with like some sort of power supply and makes this really awesome cannon, and he's just shooting it off. Echo comes back from his walk and they find out that Omega is gone. So of course Echo and Tech rush out to go find her, with Tech still limping around. Omega goes down into the crate to get as many jewels as she can carry. Echo gets there faster, of course, because Tech is still limping, and the clones end up cornering them into the crate. Hunter and Wrecker make their way to the Marauder and fly off to go and save the rest of the group. Tech finally gets there and fights off all 3 of the clones that were cornering in Omega and Echo. And even though he was hurt, I really like how we got to see a little bit of Tech fighting. We don't usually get to see him, fighting like that. He's usually doing something on his little iPad or unlocking a door or something like that. I don't know. Omega ends up dropping all the jewels and then tells Echo why she'd been so obsessed with trying to get everything. And again, it's because she overheard him complaining to Hunter that she basically ruined their lives. Omega and Echo, after a nice little cute scene I guess, end up climbing out of the crate. The old man helps pull them out of the crate while the Marauder approaches, tosses Omega the toy, and tells her to remember what he told her. Of course, he's referring to money not being the root of all happiness. That's basically what he said. And the Bad Batch fly away. Now, this is when I think it gets really interesting. Captain Wilco is speaking with Rampart. Rampart argues that his report was inaccurate because the Bad Batch had died on Tapoka City, and that he did it himself. Captain Wilco assures him that he saw the Bad Batch himself with his own eyes and that they are still alive. Rampart tells Wilco that there will be a new report that excludes the Bad Batch from it completely, because if it gets out that he didn't confirm the kill, that he will be in jeopardy in some way. Wilco tells Rampart that he's not going to lie on a new report, and Rampart says that he understands and shoots him down. R.I.P. Captain Wilco. Wilco falls off the cliff. End of episode. Now, I think this is the most interesting part of the first 2 episodes, because if you didn't know, in Legends, after the Empire rose, there was a clone rebellion on Kamino made by the Kaminoans. Now, that was Legends, but it does seem like Rex is kind of doing that. Rex is still fighting. He's already recruited Gregor, he's already told Cut about everything, and pretty much already recruited the Bad Batch as well. And don't forget Captain Hauser back on Ryloth. Now, Rex hasn't recruited them, but him and some of his clone brothers have been rebelling against the Empire. So I absolutely believe that this is a big possibility to happen in the Bad Batch. Personally, I would absolutely love to see a clone rebellion, and for that to kind of just be the last nail in the coffin for the clones being Imperial soldiers. We've been slowly seeing the transition, but I would love to see what was that last straw. What was the one thing that the Emperor said, okay, that's it, we're going with normal soldiers. But hey, I'll make a full video about that sometime this week if you guys want. I'd give this episode maybe kind of the same ranking of the last one, a 7.4. They're not super amazing or fantastic or anything crazy yet, but they are very, very solid. What do you guys think? Rank the episode 1 out of 10 in the comments. If you haven't already, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, subscribe to my other channel, Stop Motion Commotion. That's all I got for you guys today. I will see you in the next video. Bye.